Hey everyone, I'm going to take a look at the players in the Guess the Winner pack. We got 3 Man U players, 3 Arsenal players. If you've not seen it, on the homepage you got this banner, and on this to vote button, I've done mine so I can't do it again, but you basically vote for what you think the result's going to be between Man U and Arsenal at the weekend. You can choose Man U or Arsenal or a draw. Just for voting, you get 1 selection contract, and if you guess correctly, you're going to get another 2 selection contracts as well, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to take a look at the players in the pack and do a little bit of training of them and just see if I can help you to make a decision about who to use your selection contract on. So where is the pack? There it is. We've got 6 players in there. Let's have a look at all of them and we'll start with the goalie and work our way upwards. Is of course Onana. So Onana has a face scan, of course. All the players in this pack are face scanned on eForm this week. He's probably a bit lucky to have standard form still. I would say he's a bit inconsistent, but there we are. He's got low punt and he's got long throw. And let's just jump straight over to eFootball Hub. We'll see how good this Onana card is. So all fully trained up, auto allocation. Sadly, it's not a brilliant version of Onana. If you compare it to the previous trainable versions we've had a bunch. It's pretty much as bad as there's been. I've not seen any lower rated ones. I've certainly seen a bunch of higher rated ones. So it's not a great version of them compared to previous ones. There was a player of the week one as well, that was a bit better as well. So yeah, it's not a great version of him compared to others. Looking at it in isolation, it's all right. It's not amazing. Certainly the reflexes are good, but 6'3", 85 reach, slightly questionable. Powering decent, catching is bad. Awareness at 85 is not brilliant. He's got good jumping. Obviously isn't a player of the week card, so he can actually jump. I think you can afford to take all those points off jumping, but with only 4 points freed up by doing that, you can only increase one of these by 1. So what you're going to increase, I guess, awareness. Doesn't make a lot of difference, does it? So yeah, I just noticed eFootball Hub was wrong again. He's actually got long throw as well. They're not showing that, but yeah, it's not a brilliant version of one of them. With these highlight cards lately, they have been making certain changes. Obviously, there's 1 or 2 in that the pack we looked at the other day where it's the new transfers one, or the winter transfers one, and Marmouche, and who was the other one? There's a couple of players. Walker changes to their playing styles or positions. I think Vega, Juve had a centre back added as well. But certainly in terms of the attributes, they do often, as we've seen, especially with the recent packs, the partner club packs, they kind of boost most of the attributes by the same kind of amount, but 1 or 2 attributes get a bigger boost than the rest. One attribute has been bigger boosted more than the rest. Most of his attributes have gone up by 2 this version of Onana. The one that's gone up by more than 2 is low pass, interestingly. So yeah, he obviously does have good passing for a goalie, but I think I personally would have preferred one of these goalie attributes, maybe awareness or catching, to get the boost. But yeah, low pass has gone up by 5 from his GP card. So there you go. He's better at low passing than he normally is. But apart from that, like I say, not a bad goalie card, but it's definitely not a great one. He's a little bit short of what I'll be looking for. This is obviously a freebie. The cards in this pack are free, so we can't be too kind of picky. But yeah, certainly, even though this is only the first card in the pack, I'm not particularly keen to pick this guy up. It's not even great for me. So yeah, if you're new to the game, if you're a Man U fan, you've not got a good Onana yet, then yeah, certainly might be worth picking up. He's not a particularly bad goalkeeper, but sadly he's not a great one either. Let's work our way up the pitch. So into the defence, we've got a centre-back, William Saliba. Again, we've got a face scan, of course. He's an A form at the moment. He's got unwavering form as well, which is good. Skill-wise, he's got a pretty good selection of skills. Not all the skills you need for a centre-back. Heading and aerial, good. Man marking, interception, block, acrobatic clearance. He's got the most important ones, but he could do with maybe sliding tackle. I think fighting spirit would be pretty helpful as well. But he's got most of what he needs there, to be fair. He's got a pretty good selection to start off with. And this is a trainable card, so you can put skills on them. But let's have a look on eFootball Hub. We'll see how good this version of Saliba is. So all fully boosted up. Again, it's not the best version of him. It's not the worst though. We've had better. There was a non-name contract one. I think it was a Speedsters pack possibly. That was a bit better. And the one that's in the recent Arsenal pack, that was a bit better as well. So yeah, still a good version of Saliba, but it's not the best. Again, with the boost from his GP cards, they've done some interesting ones. Down the left column, most of the left column attributes are up by about 2. Tight possession is up by 5. Interestingly, so tight possession on the centre back is that's their choice of attribute to boost on Saliba. Interesting. Apart from that, +1 is defensive awareness, and his kicking power, his jumping, and his stamina. Apart from that, the middle and right columns are unchanged. So on the whole, not a great boost really. It is a good version of Saliba, but yeah, did you really want a version of Saliba who's had a boost to his tight possession and not much else? I'm not sure many people would. So yeah, honestly, on the whole, pretty measly boost already, but it's still a good centre-back card, of course. You can see in the middle there, 90 plus all those defensive attributes. Physical strength at 90 as well. It's got pretty decent pace for a centre-back. Stamina's decent. On the whole, he's pretty decent. He's about 6'4", so he's got a good height on him, but 77 jumping is not great, and his vertical reach is 273, which is it's not disastrously bad, but it's not brilliant either. I wonder if we can nudge that jumping up a bit. What could we do? I'm not going to go below 90 on jumping, and obviously we need that on air physical contact. Sorry, but obviously we don't want to go any lower on the jumping. We want to get that higher anyway. So aerial staying on 8. The only other points we've got are just 4 points on speed, and then 12 on defending. So the only way I think realistically to get that jumping up a bit is if we nick a few off defending and just go below 90 on aggression. We'll leave the other ones 90 plus, and then. We go 4 on goalkeeper 1. Yeah, just do 4 on goalkeeper 1. Got 5 left. 1 more on aerial. And I'm just going to put the last 2 on speed just to get his kicking power up to 70, because that is an important attribute. I always say you don't want to be under-hitting your passes in defence or anywhere, to be honest. It's not going to make a massive difference, obviously, but it's nice to get it up into the yellow, into the 70s. I would personally do that. Jumping height has gone up by a few centimetres. It's still not brilliant, but it is better. I think that's worth doing personally, just my personal opinion. Obviously, you could stick with the auto allocation if you prefer. And really kind of, prioritise those core defensive attributes. But for me, they're still strong enough like that. But giving them a bit more vertical reach is worth it. So, yeah, it's a good centre-back card, this. There's no major weakness there for me. The jumping's a slight concern, but you can improve it a bit. I don't think it's a major concern. And like I say, compared to previous versions of Saliba, it's certainly not one of the better ones, but it's not the worst one either. It might be a measly boost from his GP card, but it's still a good centre-back card. So if you don't have a good version of Saliba, this may well be a good one to pick up, because he's a very strong centre-back card. He's very usable. And we got one more defender in this pack. It is Mazraoui from Man U. Again, obviously got his face scan. Bit out of date. He's got a bit more of a beard now, hasn't he? Standard form. He's on D at the moment. What have we got skill-wise? Interesting section of skills. Flip-flat, cup behind turn, soul control, first-time shot. Some interesting ones for a fullback, but one-touch pass is a helpful one. Weighted pass, decent as well. And pinpoint crossing on an attacking fullback. He used to be a fullback finisher. And then defensively, aerial superiority, sliding tackle, acrobatic clearance. He could really do with interception. Oh, you might want to give him man marking block as well defensively. But he's got some good skills there. Interception, especially, I think, is one skill he really needs. And like I say, maybe his man marking block. But yeah, he's got a good start with his skills. Just need to add 1 or 2 more. But let's jump over to eFootball Hub. How good is this Mazraoui card? So it's the same kind of story again. It's not the best version of him. Similar to Onana, really. If you look at the previous versions, we've had 4 others trainable ones. And this is on par with the lowest rated of them, unfortunately. So it's not a great version. A couple of those previous versions, as I mentioned, were fullback finishers. He used to be a fullback finisher. And when he was a fullback finisher, he also had centre midfield pretty proficient. Obviously, you can position train these cards, but whether you want to use the position trainers on him is up to you. But yeah, like I say, a couple of the previous ones, it's not just about the numbers and the ability. They've got a slightly different profile with the different playing style and centre midfield there. But yeah, as he is attacking fullback, we'll have a quick look at the other positions. But as an attacking fullback, he's not bad, to be fair. As I mentioned with the skills, you really need to give him interception if you're going to use him as a fullback. I would suggest man marking blocker as well if you can afford the skill trainers. But yeah, in terms of his ability, he's decent. He's not amazing. It's obviously about as low rated as any highlight card of Mazraoui has been, but he's got some qualities. He's quick, stamina's good, physical contact and balance both a little bit on the low side. Defensives, I think, are okay on the whole, and then technicals down here I think are pretty much okay for the most part. I'd like a bit more on tight possession and lofted pass, but they're not too bad. So yeah, on the whole, he's decent enough. He's not bad for a freebie at least. From his GP card, most of his attributes are up by just 1 or 2, so again, not a massive boost, but 1 or 2 1 or 2 extra points on most of his attributes. And the one they boosted the most, as with Onana, they put 5 points on low pass. That's not a bad one, to be fair. It's not the most important one for a fullback, but you still need to be able to pass the ball, especially if it's an attacking fullback. So yeah, +5 on low pass on Mazraoui. Would I change much as a fullback? Yeah, I would nick a couple of points off lower body. I think you can afford that. I'll leave the kicking power at 80 at least. What would I boost? I'm going to leave the defensives that they are. You could just put 2 on defending there, get them all 80 plus, but I'm personally just going to beef them up a little bit technically. Get his passing up a bit. 2 left. Stick it on aerial, I think. I wouldn't do much. I'd just do that. Just kind of shuffle a few points around them out a little bit. In fact, I just noticed that dexterity. Let's take that back from aerial. Yoink. There we go. 90 acceleration as well. I'll do that. So there you go, 90 plus speed and acceleration and stamina. Kicking power still at 80. Defenses are decent enough. Technicals down here fairly decent. Would be nice if we had a bit more balance on him. I mean, he could do that, to be honest. You can nick one back from passing. If you're not going to be crossing it much, especially. You might prefer to do that, get his balance up to 80. You could shuffle a few points around here and there as you please. But yeah, on the whole, it's not amazing by any means. It's certainly it's one of the lower rated highlight cards we've had at Mazraoui. It's on a par with the lowest rated, to be fair. So it's not a great version of him, but in isolation, he's certainly usable. I do think he's a usable card. I think for a lot of people, including me, attacking fullback as a playing style is preferable to fullback finisher. So it might be better than the previous version, even if you've got a higher rated one. If you've got a fullback finisher one, just comes down to personal preference. But yeah, as a fullback, does need one or two defensive skills, and he's not an amazing card, but he's certainly a usable one. It's not a particularly great version of him compared to previous ones, but it's still a decent enough card in itself. And as I mentioned, other positions, we'll just have a quick look at other positions. Defensive mid, don't know. I'm not sure. Defensively, in a double pivot, maybe. I mean, he's got one touch pass there. He would still need 1-2 defensive skills, probably through passing as well. Not great technically, but some people will be okay with that on a defensive mid. I think physical contact's probably as big an issue as any, though, as a defensive mid. I'm not sure that's high enough, so you could get away with him as a defensive midfielder. Is anyone going to use the position trainers and the skill trainers to make him usable in that position? I'm not convinced. As a centre midfielder, not so much importance on the defensive attributes there. Passing decent, to be fair. On the ball, decent. The defences for a centre mid, I think, are okay. I'd like it to be a bit higher, but they're okay. Good pace, very good pace for a centre mid. Again, physical strength there, you're going to notice that. It's important in the game these days. Balance, again, is not brilliant. Stamina's okay. So, yeah, you've got some decent attributes. Attacking awareness is terrible, actually, for a centre mid. It's not the most important attribute on a centre midfielder, but you do need to be a bit higher than that, at least. So, yeah, again, he would definitely need through passing. Again, interception, even at centre mid, would be important. He's got some qualities, though, so if you wanted to use the position trainers as skill trainer, centre mid could be an option. And then finally, as a wide midfielder, we'll just do the auto allocation for right mid, see what it says. Again, you've got some qualities there. So you've got pretty good pace out wide. The balance is up into the 80s there. Stamina's decent enough. On the ball, he's decent. Passing is decent. He's got pinpoint crossing. Could be an option for you. Again, though, that attacking awareness as a winger, it's a bit on the low side for me, so I don't know. It could be an option for you. Could be an option as a wing back for you. You could certainly do a build where he's kind of a bit of a cross between a fullback and a wide midfielder. But yeah, I think like most of it is kind of secondary positions there. You've got options if you really want to use the position trainers and the skill trainers, but I'm not sure this is a card that many people consider worth using all those trainers on. So not particularly bad in any of those positions. You could certainly make him decent, but I think with how good he is as a fullback, yes, it's not a particularly great version of him compared to previous ones, but he is usable. He does need 1 or 2 skills. It's not a brilliant card, but it might not be a bad freebie for some people. It just depends on which of these cards you might already have a good version of, and obviously which team you support and so on. If you're a Man U fan, you might think it's a decent one to pick up, because if you don't have a highlight card of Mazraoui, then it certainly may well be. So again, it's not a brilliant card. And just before I forget, could we make him a sneaky centre-back? I wonder if he's one of these glitch centre-backs. Not really. He's not great, is he? Physical contact 70? No, thank you. Yeah, I'll leave him on auto allocation. So, yeah, certainly not a brilliant card, and it doesn't compare well to the previous versions of Mazraoui. But if you don't have a good version of him and you want one, he could do a job as a fullback for you for sure. Just needs 1 or 2 skills more than anything. Into the midfield now, and we have Martin Ødegaard, orchestrator, centre midfielder. That is his playing style these days. He's had a few. He's been a creative playmaker before, and there was that classic 10 one that was very different. That playing style was wildly different to orchestrator. Of course, he has a face scan. Unwavering form. He's had some good form for Arsenal. He quite often gets A or B. Skill-wise, where you got skill-wise, so he's one of these players, he's very much an attacking player. You know, there's nothing defensively there. So as a centre midfielder with an orchestrated playing style, which is going to hold him back, and he's not going to be making too many attacking runs. Not sure how well the skills match up to that position and playing style. If you do like him there, then I would give him interception for a start, definitely. But you've got other positions as well. Could do with 1-touch pass, to be honest, in any position you play him in. He's got through passing, but 1-touch pass is an important one. Apart from that, maybe he's long range curler if you're playing with the right wing. But he's got some good skills there though. Let's just jump over to eFootball Hub, see how good this Ødegaard card is. So all maxed out, all boosted and auto allocated. You can see where the strengths are. He's technically fantastic. Good attacking awareness. Finishing's not too bad, depends where you play him. Defensively though, like I say, if he's a centre midfielder, yikes, he can't defend to save his life. You're going to need at least 1, maybe 2 midfielders behind him doing the defensive work. But I always say this, if you've got 1 or 2 midfielders behind the guy, then you've got to think about the playing style. As an orchestrator at centre midfield, he's not going to make many attacking runs. If you're playing 2 midfielders behind him and he's the furthest forward, you're going to have a big gap between your midfield and your attack. But it just depends on what kind of role you're going to give him in your team. But for me, like I say, I do not like a centre midfielder who can't defend, and he can't defend, nor does he have any physical strength or any defensive skills. So as a centre midfielder, it's just not going to happen for me. But on the right wing, right midfield, or right wing forward, or as an attacking midfielder, you can use him in those positions. You won't have an active playing style, but I think for most people that's probably fine. Different people have different opinions on that, but for me it works fine. It's not a problem. And just on auto allocation, I think he's already better as an attacking mid. But as you see, there are 4 points on defending, which I'm going to take straight back because they're just not going to make any difference, being realistic. And where could you put them? You can put them wherever you want. I mean, you don't need that much on passing, do you? Let's just do a build for the right wing first and see how good we can make him as a right winger. Can we make him quick? I mean, we can't, but we can try, can't we? Could do that. Give him a couple on shooting. Boom. So, you can't make him quick, but you can make him quicker. You can always get him into the early 80s for speed and acceleration. So if you really wanted to try this guy right wing, I would give him long range curler, but he's got a bit of pace about him. Good balance, the kicking power is great. Good on the ball, good passing, very good passing for a wide man. To be honest, the finishing is not brilliant, but you can get away with it if you're careful with it. And like I say, if you give him a long range curler with a bit of curl and fantastic kicking power, you could have a decent long range curler on him. So, and very good attacking one. So as a right wing option without an active playing style, yes, a lot of people prefer a bit more pace on the wingers, but I think some people, especially Arsenal fans, maybe might look at this guy and think, yeah, I fancy having Ødegaard as an inverted winger, in which case he could certainly do a job if you don't mind him not being the quickest winger. But I think most people would look at this guy as a number 10, playing in that attacking midfield position. I think it's pretty clear that's where he's best. If that's the case, then I would leave a bit on lower body, and not just for the speed, but I want a bit of kicking power on him. Dexterity is looking fine. Put one more on dexterity to get him up to 88 attacking awareness. Get that increase of 2 when you get to that mark. 3 points left. I'm just going to put a bit on his finishing, I think. That would do it for me. I don't think I really need much more on passing and dribbling. Obviously, you could do that. But for me, worth getting a bit more pace on him, a bit more kicking power, a bit more finishing as well. I think as an attacking midfielder, it looks very nice. And to compare him to other versions, which I almost forgot to do, obviously we've had a lot of versions of Ødegaard. A lot of player of the week cards of Ødegaard. The better ones are better than this one. We've had a bunch of better trainable versions as well. It's the same kind of story really, but it's not the worst version of him. It's just not the best. We've had a bunch of better versions of him. It's still obviously a very good card though. Looking at what they've changed from his GP card, in the left column they put 1 point on tight possession. They've put 2 on heading and nothing else in the left column. Middle column, here's the boost. They put 7 on defensive awareness. Hooray! So he's marginally less terrible at defending. Fantastic. Thanks for that, Cammy. That's about as useful as tight possession on Saliba. We've got 1 or 2 points on the other defensive attributes there as well. On the right column, they have boosted speed a bit. So they put 4 points on speed and then 1 or 2 points on most of the other attributes on the right column as well. So yeah, defensive awareness and speed. Cool. The speed is good though. Obviously, defensive awareness, I think, for the vast majority of people is a complete waste of a boost, but having a bit more speed is good. So yeah, like I say, it's not the best version of Ødegaard. Again, you're going to find out with all these players, they're freebies, you expect that. But it's not the worst version either. It is a pretty good card. A few more points on speed, so he's got a bit more speed than some other versions of him. And yeah, whether you train him like this, or whether you do similar to what I did, or whether you do, sorry, that is what I did, obviously, or whether you do the auto allocation, and he's making really beefy down in that technical area there. Great on the ball, fantastic passing. Whichever way you do it, he's technically great. Really good attacking midfielder. And you could make him a right winger, as I said. You could even make him a left winger, actually. Has he got pinpoint crossing? He has got pinpoint crossing. Let's see if we can do a build for the cross spammers. Hang on. Let's see if we can do one more build on him. I'll take those 4 points back because the auto allocation put him back on defending for some absurd reason. Can we get 1 more dexterity? Yeah. Yeah, I would probably do that as a left midfielder. So he's kind of like, I always say, a kind of old school left winger, more of a kind of Beckham style winger, obviously without the pace, but with the delivery, as opposed to a kind of pacey dribbler, but certainly good on the ball. Low pass 94, but more importantly, lofted 90, curl 82, kicking power 90. He's got pinpoint crossing. His crossing will be fantastic. Not the quickest, like I say, but if you're going to focus just on the end product, if you do like a bit of cross spam, if you're willing to put 1 or 2 position trainers on him to try and get him left midfield or left wing forward, playing on the left,
without the pace, he's strong pretty much everywhere else, and he could be really effective putting crossing for you. So there's another use of him that you could have there. But yeah, like I say, on the whole, again, not the best version of Ødegaard you expected with these freebies. It's a common theme with these cards in this pack, but it is not a bad version of him. It's not the worst version. If you don't already have a good version of him for a freebie, don't think you can complain really. It is a good card. And now on to Saka. So we got right wing forward Saka. He can play on the right or the left. He can even play left back, apparently. Got a face scan, of course. Unwavering form. Skills are decent. It could do with 1 or 2 or maybe through passing, and it's certainly long range curler. I think most people would like this guy on the right hand side, in which case long range curler would, for me, be the first skill to put on him. He's got a few skill moves there. Soul control, heel chick. Decent slashing skills to start off with. Like I say, playing on the right, long range curler. If you play him on the left, pinpoint crossing. But yeah, good slashing skills to start off with though. And let's jump over to eFootball. How good is this Saka card? All trained up and auto allocated. He's decent. So again, same kind of story, similar to Ødegaard. It's not the best version of Saka. We've had a bunch of better ones, including the one in the recent Arsenal pack. But again, it's not the worst either. It's not a million miles away from some of the better versions of Saka, to be honest. So again, for a freebie, I think it's a decent one. It's a decent card. From his GP card, what they boosted the most, they put a few points on his curl. They put about 4 on defensive engagement and 3 on tackling. Excellent. So yeah, maybe you could use him as a left back. So he's just a tiny bit less terrible at defending. Yay! That's really useful. Thanks for that, Konami. Apart from that, most attributes up by about 2. Some attributes haven't changed. Attacking awareness, ball control, dribbling, finishing, exactly the same as his GP card. But yeah, he's a bit better defensively and he can curl it a bit more. Fantastic. But yeah, it is a decent card, obviously, as you can see. And again, it is a freebie, so you can't really complain too much. He's got decent pace. He's got a little bit of kicking power. I'd like a bit more, but it's certainly not bad. Good balance, good stamina, good on the ball. Would like a bit more tight possession, to be fair, but he's still good on the ball. Low enough to pass are okay for a wide man. Certainly as an inverted ring, I think they're okay. Finishing and attacking awareness, a decent attacking awareness is pretty good, actually. Like I said, I think it really just comes down to where you're going to play him. Are you going to play him as a left back? Let's just train out. Let's just go with the auto allocation. How good is that going to make him as a left back? Not very good, as it turns out. He can't defend to save his life, even with the defensive attributes being boosted, or at least the tackling and engagement. But yeah, I mean, if you want to use him as a very, 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 very attacking left back, good luck. Because I would love to play against someone who had Saka at left back. That would be a lot of fun, because he just can't defend, unfortunately. But you could do that if you wanted to, I guess. But yeah, as is with his registered position as a wide forward on the right hand side, inverted winger, I think he's pretty decent in terms of what you could, shuffling points around. I'm just thinking, could you get that low pass up to 80? Not sure where the points would come from, really. I don't want to dip below 90 on balance. Don't really want to dip below 82 on kicking power, to be honest. Dribbling, likewise. I'll just leave him as he is, I think. I think that build is decent. It's a pretty well-balanced build. Like I say, I think it probably more than anything just comes down to skills. Going to play him on the right, long range curler. If you want to put him on the left, his crossing won't be too bad. If you gave him pinpoint crossing, 81 lofted, 85 curl, 82 kicking power, he'll have an all-right cross on him. Not a brilliant one, though. And yeah, I don't think I'd reallocate any of those points, really. I think it's a fairly decent build. And again, not the best version of Saka. We have had a bunch of versions of Saka that are better. Player of the week, untrainable ones. But it's not the worst either. It's not a million miles away from some of the better ones. So yeah, another one where it's a bit of a weird boost in terms of the attributes that boosted the most. But it is what it is. It's a free card. And if you don't already have a better version of Saka, which you might do, but if you don't, for a freebie, I don't think you can complain. It's a tidy card. Use him on the right or the left. I think most use him on the right. And it's certainly if you gave him long range curler as an inverted ring on the right. So it is, in isolation, it is a good card, this. So again, for a freebie, can't complain even if it's not the best version of Saka. And last but not least, we have got Rasmus. So again, he has a face scan, of course. I think I've updated that recently. On D, unfortunately, this week, standard form. It's not the best season, as he for Man U. I don't think many of their players having a rough time. Skill-wise, not a lot here, but you got the most important one, first-time shot. I've said this before of Højlund, but it would be nice if he had maybe his heading and even aerial superiority, because he's quite a big guy and he's physically strong. But yeah, we've got first-time shot at least. Could maybe do his long-range curl as well, to be honest. But yeah, let's have a look on eFootball Hub. How good is this Højlund card? So, getting more trained up, auto-allocated. He's decent, but again, same story with all these cards. Is not the best version of Højlund. We've had a player of the week one that's a bit better, and it's one of the low-rated trainables if you compare it to all the other trainables that we've had. the most recent Man United pack, that was better as well. But to be honest, you look around at most of the attributes, there's not a lot of difference. It's really just that Man United pack version of Højlund. He had about 5 more on his physical contact and his balance. Apart from that, not a lot of difference. So again, you're going to find it with a lot of these cards, not a massive difference between these cards and the best versions, but they're definitely not the best versions. It's one of the lower rated ones again, like a bunch of these cards. But yeah, in isolation, it is a decent card again. It's not a bad card. What have they boosted his GP card the most? Kicking power. They've put 5 on his kicking power. Apart from that, everything's up by about 2 or 3 really. So yeah, it's not the best version of Højlund, but it's still a decent one. Like I say, in isolation, it is decent. The awareness is pretty decent at 89. Would like to be about 1 higher, but you're up to 12 in dexterity. To get that high, you need 4 points to get up to the 90 mark. I don't think it's worth it. There aren't that many points you can spare from elsewhere. Finishing at 85, we could really do with putting that up a little bit if we can. Speed is good. Kicking power is fantastic. We could afford to nick one off there, actually. That'll give us 2 points at least. That's a start. What else could we do? If we're not going to get to 90 in awareness, I'm going to nick 1 more just to go down to 88. I'm not going to go lower than that, because if you go 1 lower, you got that jump from 86 to 88. So I'm going to leave it at 88 awareness. That gives us 5 points. And if I nick 1 off dribbling, that's enough to get the shooting up by 2. And again, you get to the 86 mark. The next increase gives us 2 more. So we go to 88 finishing. I think that's worth doing. Would I do anything else? To be honest, you could nick 1 more from dribbling. If you put 1 on goalkeeper 1, jumping gets to 70. Nice. Amazing. Yeah, obviously not going to make a huge difference, but yeah, it's an alright Højlund card. He's decent, you know, the awareness and finishing, you can get them both to 88. The pace is good. Good kicking power. He's got a bit of physical strength about him. He's not got the most balance. He's not great on the ball, so don't ask too much when you get on the ball. Don't start doing anything crazy trying to dribble around all the defenders, because you might struggle. He's a big physical guy, but yeah, like I say, for a guy who's big and physical, yes, the jumping's not brilliant, but if you gave him heading and maybe aerial superiority, even without particularly great jumping height, which he doesn't have, he might get 1 or 2 headed goals for you. And I think long range curl would be worth putting on him as well. But yeah, again, like I say, it's all these cards are the same. It's not the best version, but these are freebies. If you don't have a highlight card of Højlund already, then it may well be worth you picking out, because it is a solid card in itself. It just doesn't compare particularly well to the previous versions. But yeah, like I say, in isolation, it's a solid centre forward card. Not an amazing one, but you can certainly do a job for you as a goal poacher with good pace, decent awareness and finishing, depending if you shove the points around a little bit. Just not great on the ball, but it's a solid centre forward card. Just again, not particularly great compared to the previous versions of him. So there you'll guess the winner cards from Arsenal and Man U. As I've said a few times, these are freebies. You can't complain too much, but obviously for freebies, they're not going to be the best versions of each of these players. But I do think there's some decent ones in there. I don't think that's a particularly great goalie card of Onana. Højlund, solid centre forward. Saliba, good centre back. Saka, very tidy winger, right or left. I think most people use him on the right. But yeah, good card. Ødegaard, good card. And then Mazraoui, not a bad one to be fair. He needs 1 or 2 skills, but he could be usable as a fullback. So yeah, for one freebie, picking 1 card out of these, I think quite a few people will at least get 1 decent card out of here that they're happy with. Obviously, if you're quite new to the game especially, it'll be a very nice freebie to get 1 of these. And if you guess the result correctly, then you'll get another 2 as well. So yeah, not a brilliant pack. None of these cards are anything to get particularly excited about, but considering they're freebies, can't complain. And I think it's a decent idea as well from Konami. I hope they do more stuff like this, because you know, I to be honest, if anything, I would have preferred if there's a challenge, even just an AI challenge where you had to kind of earn the selection contract rather than just pressing a couple of buttons and getting it for nothing. I would have preferred having to earn it from a challenge, if anything, but can't complain. But I just do hope, I've said it before, I hope that we keep seeing more of these selection contracts associated with various types of packs and challenges, because I think it's a good addition to the game. So fair play to Konami. They're not amazing cards, but for freebies, can't complain. And there's some decent cards in there for quite a lot of people. So there you go. There's your Guess the Winner pack. Hopefully you found that useful. Let me know who you're going to pick with your contract or contracts. As I mentioned at the start and in the Player of the Week review, which is live on the channel, that went live this morning or lunchtime. There are more packs for me to review. I've got a bunch of videos I've got to make over the weekend. I'll probably do the Inter Milan pack next. I've got the English League and Spanish League, and there might be 1 or 2 others as well. So yeah, keep your eyes on the channel for those. And as I mentioned when I was reviewing the Player of the Week pack this morning, I might do a stream. I'm hoping to do a stream on Monday, and I might even throw some coins at that Rivaldo pack. But yeah, we'll see. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Do appreciate it, and keep your eyes on the channel for more videos. Catch you soon.